I thought I needed. So I thought I needed. Thought I needed. So I thought I needed.
Hello, Vergers, and welcome back to 30 Something and Verging. I have Keisha Simone as a guest host tonight, and we're going to be talking about surviving being an entrepreneur during a pandemic. Keisha, I'm going to let her actually introduce herself and her company, and then I'm going to show y'all, like, not all of the pieces that I have from her, but some of them.
Okay. Well, hello. My name is Keisha Simone Standback. I am from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm originally from Jacksonville, but I live in Raleigh. My business is Accessorize. It's a accessory line, specializing in accessories that celebrate women of color. I offer something for everybody, but primarily it is celebrating women that look like us, melanin, a lot of pieces that are inspirational. And with my brand, it's a celebration of your features. So I actually I think you on Instagram or in a chat that when we were starting our businesses. But yeah, that's a little about me and my business.
Awesome. So if you have, I think the first piece that I got from you was talking about something dealing with like life and keeping pushing or whatever, some black earrings, and I like had them on one night going out, and then I got these teacher ones, and then my favorite piece of all pieces is this little bangle that says "Thou shalt not try me 24/7." And then I have the one that says "All is within me." I have another bangle that says "Keep fucking going" on the inside, like that. I love that. Like to look down at that one. I have the Unk, and then I have. I reached out to her and I was like, "Can you make some earrings with my business logo on it?" And she did some studs, which are not in this box, strangely enough. And she did these as well. And then my other favorite piece that I actually have on.
Okay. You got everything. You got all my inventory.
So yes, I do shop with Accessorize, and I shop with it because of just what she said. Like, it's so empowering, and like the one that says "Keep fucking going," that I got that one during a time where I wasn't depressed or anything like that, but I was like really stressed with work and just life in general. And I was like, I just got to keep fucking going. Every day I have to keep fucking going.
And that's what a lot of people when they share with me, it's kind of like one lady bought a bracelet. I think it was the I Am Enough. She bought it for herself, and I was at a vendor show, and she texted me from my number on the business card, and she was like, "Keisha, do you have any more of these? Like, I think it was a friend of hers was going through something. She was like, I had to give it to her right off my wrist." So it's stuff like that. But if you notice, it's also like stuff that kind of like the Still I Rise, the Maya Angelou, the Phenomenal Woman. So that does represent women of color. So I want it to be special to us, but be for everybody, but especially like when people see it like that Still I Rise, they know, okay, that's Maya Angelou, or Phenomenal Woman, they know that's a Black woman.
So I know from following you on Facebook and Snapchat that you are a poet, right? What made you get into this entrepreneurial business, like wanting to do accessories and taking, you should stop me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it was the understanding of the poetry that you read, that you delved into, that part of the literature that made you want to go and be able to put words to accessories that women can wear to uplift them.
So my passion is, I never thought that I would own a business and have an accessory line. That was never my goal. My passion is poetry. And all the poetry that I've ever written has been about inspiring little girls and women. I've been writing since I want to say my first oratorical contest was in 7th grade. So, and it was always stuff like that I was going through as a child, and I would like write it down, but I would never share it. Like getting made fun of because of the color of my skin, how dark I was, or me being, having broad shoulders, full lips, seeing my sister get made fun of because we're both, dark skinned. And I would just write it down. And I might laugh with them, or, I would never say anything. I would just write poetry about it. I would write exactly how I felt. And then when I went home a couple years ago, and I was still writing. I've always been creative and stuff. And I was still writing. I was doing spoken word. But when I went home a couple years ago, my mom had a Tupperware with a lot of poetry that I had written, like stuff, pictures. And when I saw it, it was like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, like Keisha, you used to feel this way. And like, I would never want another little girl to look in the mirror and be like, okay, because I'm dark skinned, I'm not pretty, or I'm not pretty as the next person. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what can I do to inspire little girls that look like me to love themselves and to celebrate, their features? And that's when I was like, you know what, accessories. I was like, I love jewelry. I wear accessories. I make jewelry. I make things. So I was like, you know what, accessories. I thought about seeing mantras, and I thought about reading me writing my poems, and I thought about the little quotes I used to write. And I thought about like when I was sad and I was writing in a notebook, I would write stuff like keep going. It wasn't keep effing going, but it was keep going. It was stuff like, I am enough. It was like, your black is beautiful. So I was like, why not put that in a bangle? Like, why not put that on jewelry that somebody can look at every day? Because typically, when you leave the house, you want to have a woman wants to wear earrings most of the time, or a bracelet or a necklace. So I was like, put little simple reminders on that for people to wear, wearable art. That's what I call it. I call it wearable art.
Yeah.
It's jewelry, but ultimately it's my art. And it's not, I don't write full poems on the poetry, but it's art on the pieces, but it's little pieces of me to want to inspire somebody else.
That is so awesome. I love that story. So your mom was also writing poetry too?
No, she wasn't writing.
It was your poetry.
It was my stuff that she kind of packed away and was like, okay, take this back, get it out of my house.
Okay.
and I just was going through everything, and I was like, oh, this is my old poetry, because I have my stuff from like the past, 8 years, but stuff when I was like in high school and in middle school, that stuff she had. And I'm like, the stuff that I was writing about, when I was 14 is the same stuff that I'm writing about when I'm 30. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's still relevant. So why not put it out there?
Yeah. Oh, that is so awesome. I'm a poet as well. I just published a book of poetry January 3rd.
Oh,
and I'm working on the second book. And it's actually just poems that this second book is going to have one poem that I wrote while I was still in high school. And then the other was from college.
Oh, wow.
So it's like old poetry that I was like, no, I always wanted to. I did a contest in college and I won and was placed in this anthology. And since then, I've always like, I'm a published author, but I want to have my own book. I want to have my own anthologies. And that's what I'm doing now. So that's like awesome.
Yes, I love it.
And it was sort of like arrived out of the same thing. I was bullied when I moved to Mississippi because I talked fast. My mom was strict. She wasn't like other parents where you can go outside and do certain stuff. So because of that, I poured into poetry. I remember like at 9 writing a poem for every alphabet, and it talked about like my bad day or whatever. As I got older, I was able to talk more about like my feelings for people, whether it was a sibling, a cousin, someone I dated, or just like my feelings that day, or thinking about like a black man like being subjected to certain stuff. So like that's totally dope. So how long did it take you to, once you decided what you were going to do, start your business? Was it a lengthy process?
So what I did, because I knew I wanted to, start a business, and I have a whole list, like, and this, when you start one business, when you start thinking about ideas, you start thinking about 101 ideas. And you're like, okay, what can I do? What do I do first? What, so that's where my mind was going. So, but what I did, and I tell my friends that ask, people to ask is, you know, I knew I wanted to start a business. I figured out what I wanted to do. And I planned for a year prior. So when I say I planned, it wasn't like me every day. It was like, okay, I know I launched it's 2019. So I launched in 2018, April of 2018. I launched, a year. So I launched in April, but I started planning the April before, but it wasn't like I'm doing this every day, I'm stressing myself out. It was, okay, make goals, do this month, do this month, get inventory and try pieces out, buy jewelry and wear it out and see, you know, do people say, ooh, I like that? Or do people ask you, oh, where did you get that from? Being in those Facebook groups, doing research that way. So for a whole year, I kind of saved money to where, okay, I'm like, I know I don't want to get a loan for my business. I'm going to save money. I'm going to start, if I get a piece that I really like, I'm going to go, you know, ahead and order that. I'm going to start watching more videos on getting, on improving my jewelry making skills. So for a whole year, I did that. And then when I was like, okay, I know I want to launch my birthday, April, I just did it. I really just did it. And I wasn't ready. It wasn't perfect. But then I saw a podcast. I'm not sure what podcast it was, but it was like, that's what most entrepreneurs do. They try to wait until everything is perfect. And when they do it, it's still not going to be perfect because they're going to want to keep changing things. So I just went ahead and launched. So, but before I launched, it was about a year of me planning, doing research, and me just making sure that everything, if I could maintain it on my own by myself.
Oh, wow. That's dope. So how has it been? So we were in that group. Was it, E-Boutique 101?
Yep.
So in there, it was like where I got like so much knowledge from like, oh, don't be, I'm not currently a LLC yet, but because of what Swank Blue said, you know, like be a sole proprietor until you do X, Y, and Z, and doing those different things. And I was the same way. My whole thought was like, oh, so I was supposed to launch my clothing boutique first, and student loans kicked my butt. So it was like, can't do the clothing boutique because student loans kicking your butt, and you got to get student loans away from you. So I was like, what else can I do? Like, I can't stop myself. And my sister was like, you still working on your book, get your book out. Like, nothing has to be in the order that you done wrote it down in. And I'm like a anal planner when it comes to certain things, like feel like it has to go in this order. And she was like, no, it don't. Do your book. And now I'm planning on the launch of the boutique. But I've been like what you said, I've had Zoom calls with friends, showing them like the clothes that I was thinking about picking out, like saying like, hey, what do y'all think about this? You know, this is what X, Y, and Z is wearing now. Would you buy this? And doing those different things. And I think it's important for other entrepreneurs to know, like what you said, plan and actually watch videos, research. Do that because you give yourself the knowledge and the capability to actually make sure that you're successful, so you don't have to depend on anyone else.
I think a lot of people too. So I know for a fact, we've communicated a lot on Facebook, and when we were in that group, I think a lot of people think that information is like, I'm gonna hold on to it, and I'm not gonna. I think this is for newer people. Like, I'm gonna hold on to this information. I'm not gonna share it. But people are so willing to share everything that you need to know from beginning to end, and most of it is probably free. So it's kind of like, ask those questions. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not losing anything by the worst somebody could say is no. But I guarantee you, if you're asking somebody like that has done it before, you would probably be extremely excited to speak with somebody that wanted to publish a book. You know what I'm saying? To tell them how you did it. So I think people picking people's brain and doing that research is one of the most important parts of, you know, being an entrepreneur is doing your research and then talking to people who have done it, so they can say, okay, this is what I did, this worked for me, this didn't work, and then you weighing out, okay, this is what I think I can go, and if I mess up, this person messed up and they're still successful, so I'm gonna be fine. Yeah.
And I think that's what even though I haven't, even though I don't have the clothing boutique launch yet, I still have a website and I still like different like merchandise on there. And some people like, oh, Keela, you have this business going, you doing you making boo-hoo. And I was like, no, I'm not. But because it's my own, it's my baby, I'm pushing it. And hopefully within the next 2 years, 3 years, then I'll be this powerhouse that I want to be. But
right.
It's okay that you think that I got boo-hoo, that's great. But it takes time. It takes like the studying, the crafting, and putting in the consistent work. Like at first I didn't want to do this podcast. I was like, shit, it's gonna cost me more money to do the podcast than it is,
But it's so good that you're doing this, because people can see. Okay, so most people see that the people that get on Instagram and they may make it to the shade room and immediately get 100,000 followers, and they a normal person, some people, and I even thought that way at one point, like, okay, I'm gonna launch this business, and then within the first 2 weeks I'm gonna have 500 followers on Instagram, I'm gonna have $1,000 in sales, because that's what I see on the internet. When I see those ads, that's what I see. People don't see this part. People don't see that it does take a couple of years. It may take some people overnight, but for the most part, it's going to take you putting the work in to see those results that you see on Instagram. People don't really show that behind the scenes, that this didn't happen, overnight. Because I'm still working, just like you said, in a couple years, I'm hoping, like, I'm building my cushion now. So in a couple years, I can be one of those people I'm looking at like, oh, that's who I want to be.
Yeah. Like, I don't have to work my 9 to 5 anymore, because I have the streams of income now where I don't need the 9 to 5. I don't need that extra money or the insurance. I can afford it all on my own, which is what people really have to look at, like thinking about that. So for me, I want us to get into like thinking about the pandemic. When the pandemic started, I had just launched my book and just started my podcast. So it wasn't difficult. It just made I feel like it made the podcast a little bit less fun because we couldn't have people in the house with us. But then we thought about Zoom and changed it up like this. So then that came. But as far as sales went, sales still, it's like good day, bad day, good day, bad day. And one of my friends who's thinking about starting a business was just speaking on like being so beat down by it. And I was like, well, I wasn't beat down by COVID. And she asked me why wasn't I? And I said, well, I feel like COVID is nothing but opportunity, right? Like, it's consistent opportunity. Like, they gave those SBA loans. I'm not gonna lie and say I got either of them, because I didn't. They didn't give me the grant. They didn't give me nothing. They didn't throw anything my way. But there were so many different things. And then like with working with the podcast, it's been making me find different ways to elevate the podcast, to make it better. So by the time it gets to someone from the Breakfast Club or someone else looking and saying like, oh, wow, this is a really good podcast or whatever, and this is where we can see from episode 1 to this episode where she's come from, she's somebody that could be a success. Now I've built up that particular thing. Has there been a struggle for you, or has there been anything that has been challenging during the pandemic?
So a few people have asked me that, because you automatically think, okay, you think she sells jewelry, okay? Typically in the jewelry that I sell, most of it, it's these big earrings, it's these statement earrings. It's the earrings that you're not gonna wear every day. Like, these are my everyday earrings. I have hoops that I wear every day, but if I'm going out, I'm wearing my statement earrings. So people are like, okay, what are you gonna do for your business? But surprisingly, my business actually elevated during the pandemic. I think that I had a chance to really, really work on it. Like, I had a chance to focus more on the photo qualities on the pictures on my website. I was doing research on when you write captions, it needs to be personal to the audience. Like, I was able to look into so many things and change, like you said, elevate my business. And then another thing that I think that made it better during the pandemic is, keep in mind, most of the stuff that I sell has inspirational stuff on it. A lot of people were down during the pandemic. Like, a lot of people were down. Like, I even got depressed, during the pandemic. And so it was, for some people, shopping is like therapy, but then when they're shopping, they were shopping for inspirational stuff, and they may have just been wearing, like, I'm in the house right now and I have on, a watch and bangles. I just wear them. So it may have been like a security blanket type thing. So it didn't affect me in a negative way. I will say it weighed both ends, because I had time to really, really focus on my business. I actually did my first virtual open mic during the pandemic. I don't know if you were there, but I did my first virtual open mic during the pandemic because I had time to plan it. And so I can't complain. But it's getting a little old.
Let's say, like, now I'm over this crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm over it. But like I was telling a coworker, I'm like, I'm over it, but I'm not over living. So I'm cool. If you tell me to stay in the house, I'm gonna stay in the house.
Right.
So I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make sure I can get up time to see y'all, call my mama to my mama, whatever.
Right. And I work for the state. Like, I work for the state in North Carolina. So I've been working from home since March 11th. So I've been working from home. I haven't been back in my office since March 11th.
It was March 13th for us.
Oh, wow.
That's the last day that I was at work. March 13th. Yeah, March 13th. So I know with like sales, like constantly having sales, doing different things.
I think it froze a little bit. I can hear you.
I'm sorry, I don't know. My whole screen just went blank and then popped back up. It's storming over here, y'all.
It's storming here too. It's fine.
It's storming and the screen just went. This is the second time it's done this crap. Okay, I apologize, y'all, for the technical difficulty. But we're getting through it. But I've seen so many people like doing so well with their businesses. And then I've seen like so many, like listening to Barack Obama and Joe Biden talk on yesterday. One of the things that they talked about was like so many small businesses. It's at least 10,000 small businesses that are going to close and that will never be able to open back up again because of this pandemic. And then I know so many people like I hope my friend don't keep me. I'm not gonna say no names. So like the SBA loans and all that stuff. I know several people. Like I know one person that said they got in the upper $50,000s of dollars, but have no business. So I was like, wow. And I'm not hating on nobody, but I'm just like, damn, I have a business. You know, one of the questions on there, you have a business, you got your EIN number, I have an EIN number, I have an employee. Like, you know, I have 2 employees actually. I'm paying them out of pocket. So like, you're not gonna help me? And I felt so slighted by that. And there were so many other people like getting it, and then people were like, well, y'all jealous of people. No, I'm not jealous. I was offended by the fact that all the money was gone to people, and it like, you don't even have real businesses. Like you done made up fake stuff, and you got the money, and the businesses that do need it can't get it.
But it's the government, so the government's gonna find that out. The government's gonna get their money back. Oh, I hope they know that.
They care. Because it's like they're not, well, not getting smart or anything. But I'm like, I don't think people period care. They're like, give me. That's like the whole idea of like, give me. Like with this, if I would have been getting that $800 every week, I would have bought some land. I would have stayed. I would have got a house somewhere. Bank account would be stacked. Like I wouldn't be in dire straits right now because they're getting ready to end unemployment. And I think that's something that this has taught me too during this pandemic, is that being a business owner, you have to think about your business and how you're going to make it survive so that you can survive. Because this,
right.
like, this is my baby. Like, I want to see my brand everywhere. I want to see my podcast blow up. I want to see my book sell. So I'm pushing it. What are some things or advice you can give people who are pushing to build a brand or build a business and just find themselves in like either dire straits or just don't know which way to go?
I think, so my advice would be, whatever you're doing, like some people start businesses to make money and they're very successful making money. They are. But I think some people also start businesses because they have a passion for something, and it's something they like really, really believe in, or it's a message that they want to get out. It's a product that will help people. It's a product that will make people's lives easier. It's something that will benefit, like, okay, this worked for me, or this did something for me, and I want you to experience it or be a part of it, or just have a piece of it, and it's going to benefit. So I think if you're starting your business and you are passionate about what you're doing and it's meaningful to you, I honestly don't think there's any way it can fail. I think if you start a business and the end goal is, like, if you're selling dog collars and you can't stand dogs, like you don't like dogs, clearly you're in business to make money. That's not going to work out for you. It could, but that's probably not going to work out for you. So I think any entrepreneur or anybody that's thinking about starting a business, it can't be just to make money. It's really got to be, something you're passionate about, because there are probably people that when this pandemic started, they had to stop. Like they gave up, or they were like, you know what? I don't care about this. I'm not doing it. But you also have your people like, I believe in it that much that I'm going to make it through this pandemic. I'm going to do what it takes. Like, so it gives you drive. Like, so if you're passionate about it, I feel like that's the number one thing, because you're going to want to see it succeed. If you don't care about something, it could die down and it's not going to really matter. But if your heart's in it, if your heart and your soul's in it and you're invested in it, then you have no choice but to, you know what I'm saying? You have no choice but to want to see it grow. And so I think that's the number one thing, is be invested in it, like personally, passionately, and it really being meaningful to you.
Yeah, I think that's why I was able to push so much, was because it was my baby. It was something that I wanted to do, something that I felt that I was good at, something that I felt could be impactful for my family and families, the generations behind us and the people surrounding us. I was buying little stuff, for my business with school when we were actually in school. Then the pandemic hit, and I was like, "Oh, I'm saving money because I ain't going outside. Let me buy this desk. Oh, I can get a backdrop. I can get a ring light. Get all this stuff." It's like, I can get all this stuff. Oh my God, with this extra money. And it was, like I said, it was a blessing, because at first I was on this little, I think it's a little desk that you know how you have those little fold up desks that you pull out to eat on, like you can put it in front of somebody's chair and eat on it. At first, it's what my podcast equipment was set up on. I'm like, now I got this podcast equipment sitting to the side and I'm recording on this computer. But I feel like we just have to, if I could give them any advice, like I feel like you, that they do need to invest in themselves. I just feel like it has to be this burning desire that you can't stop. Like, I understand Puffy can't stop, won't stop. Like, you can't stop. Like, oh, the pandemic happened. Like, when this happened, I remember talking to my production manager and telling him, like, I said, so many people are sad, but I'm excited. And he asked me why. I was like, because I get to work on my business. I'm gonna be at home, and while I'm waiting on my students to come to class, I can have my personal laptop up doing stuff for my business. Researching, doing different things or whatever. And to me, that was totally awesome to be able to do, because and that's why I think that even though COVID, God rest everyone's soul, including my aunt who passed away from COVID-19.
I'm sorry to hear
Even
that.
though COVID has taken so many lives, taken so many lives and done so many things, and I think this is it's just me anyway, I always have to find a silver lining in whatever it is. Like pushing it. So what is next up for Accessorize?
So I'm still learning, and I think you know that as well. Like you're constantly always learning, and so what I'm doing now is, like I told you from the beginning, my poetry or my passion is poetry. You know, I'm kind of, you'd be surprised, but I'm an introvert. Like I've spit one poem, and that was on the virtual open mic that I hosted. But I would really like to use Accessorize as my outlet for my poetry. That was ultimately my goal from the start. So I would like to start recording poetry and incorporating it with my jewelry within the next, I would say, I keep saying, I said I was going to do it in the beginning. I've done it once, but that's like the scary part of it, because that's like the heartstrings of it. But I want to incorporate, you know, my poetry, and then also like my quotes that I've written on bracelets, and hopefully extend into like clothes, like melanin and clothes that celebrate us.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I guess I didn't pay a close enough attention to them, because I didn't see the virtual open mic night, because my god sister has been trying to get me to do an open mic night for years. She was like, I think once you do one, I'm like you, I'm an introvert. I'm good without people. But
that's the thing, because it was online, that's what I think that's why it was, because a lot of people are introverts, and I think that's actually why I was able to do it, because I'm like, you know what, I'm not in front of anybody. I'm not, and if I get embarrassed, I didn't do it, but I'm like, if the worst case scenario, I could just turn my computer off and say my camera died or something. Worst case scenario, I'm gonna just turn it off and run away. But I think it was like people just being able to be in their living room and kind of just, some people spit like spoken words, some people wrote it, and then like this was one little boy we had on the invite. You had to be 18 to get in, not to get in, but to participate, because we didn't know what the content of some of the poems would be. Do you know a little boy? He told a story. He lied. The little boy was in there. He wanted to recite a poem. He was like 15. But when I tell you the poem was good, his mom was there with him. She knew what he was doing. They were I don't know where they were, but she like found out later, and everything was fine. But he wanted to share his poem so bad. He saw it like on Instagram that he lied about his age. And I was like, that is how important it is for people to hear, or for people to even share and hear like poetry. So being in the comfort of your own home, you might be able to, we might need to get together and plan one.
That was great minds think of right, because that was going to be my next question. When are you planning your next one? Because you know what I want to do? I want to send you a copy of my book and get you to do a review on it, if that's something that you're up for.
Oh yeah, oh wow, yeah. So yeah, definitely. We haven't talked about a next one. I've been writing. Like I've been writing, but I don't know how you write, but when I write, I have like, okay, this is amazing. Okay, I'm writing this one the next day. Oh my goodness, I got another idea. So I have 56 unfinished pieces, just that it's 2 lines. Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's good. You know, but then it's okay, what's the rest? You know what I'm saying? And it's 56 of those. Nothing's done. So I've been working on stuff, but I would love to, you know, get something complete and, you know, get back on the mic.
Oh my gosh. Like like you said, like this process is crazy. If I get an idea, if something, words start flowing, I immediately have to write. Mm-hmm. So I text myself.
Yep.
And I just text myself one on Sunday. Something about what I say. I love you past your ego. I love you through your pain. I love you even if who you really are wasn't the same. Not the same projection of what you showered with the crowd. I love you so deep that your facade would bow down. Like it was. I don't know what. Can't remember what made me start writing this, but yeah, I'm always putting it in it's on here because I'm like, I can email, I can text myself. And I text to myself, so yeah, we should plan one. It could be like a Houston Raleigh Connect.
Oh yeah, that would be dope. And when I tell you, because it was on the internet, there was somebody from Canada in there, and I was like, ooh. I guess because of course it's Instagram, you know, and it was up there, but we had a couple feature poets, and then some people signed up, and it was pretty dope. I think I actually do. If you look on after this is over, if you look on my IG Live, I have the piece that I did up there.
Write this note to myself so I make sure I get on IG Live. But I will look that up. That is so awesome. Yes. Have you ever thought about going into partnering with someone with your accessories on their sites or different things like that? Because I know she has her own site, accessorize.com. Please go check it out. It is gorgeous. You really love it. It's friendly. It's straight to the point. You see the pieces and all that stuff, so go check her out. But what if you thought about like either making statement pieces for other people or trying to put your stuff on other websites? Have you considered that or thought about doing it during the pandemic?
So I'm currently, I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but there's a brand, it's called the Vitamin Inbox, and it's a subscription box of all things melanin. Her name is Carrie Croft. I believe she's from New York, but she has a business called the Vitamin Inbox, and I'll actually tag you on her because you probably left a page. But she features different women of color, African American women, businesses in this subscription box monthly, and I've worked with her twice, so I'm actually in the July box this month. But as far as like, I would love to be on somebody else's website or, you know, in a store or, you know, one of my friends, maybe nail salons. That's something I would love to do. I've actually looked up like how to start it, but I just haven't had time. I work a 9-to-5 too, and it's hard. Like it is hard to run a business by yourself and then also work a 9-to-5. And I watched, she did that on Netflix, and on Netflix they're like, you gotta quit your 9-to-5. You gotta quit your 9-to-5. And I'm like, I would love, you know, you have to be able to put a bunch of time behind your business. And I am doing that, but it's getting it gets exhausting. So I haven't had the time to do what I want to do because I do work a 9-to-5. So I've had those thoughts as well. Like, okay, Keisha, what's next? Do I need to, what if Accessorize was my 9-to-5? Accessorize could be my 9 to, you know what I'm saying? So thoughts like that, to be able to expand and do stuff like that.
I'm in this other group called the a Women Coalition or something on Facebook. Business Women or something. I can't think of the name of it, but a couple of days ago, this young lady got on there and she was like, y'all, I'm just venting. You know, I really want to quit my 9-to-5, but I need it. And so many people got on her post and was like, that was the best thing I ever did was quit my 9-to-5. You know, she was just telling them like, you know, her fear was that, you know, she doesn't want to lose the insurance for her kids or for herself. And she doesn't want to put that big of a burden on her business when her business hasn't seen this particular sales that she wanted it to see. And there was a couple of women on there that was like, you know, I stopped working and I didn't do da. But I'm like, maybe if you had, I saw one lady say, if you have 6 to 9 months saved up, take the jump. But if you don't, you know, keep working till you can do what you can do. And I think that
makes sense. That makes sense. And that's what, when I watched, have you watched She Did That on Netflix?
No, I actually was grabbing my pen because the other pen that I got don't work. So I'm like, let me ask her. I was getting ready to ask you. So you said She Did That.
Yes, and it's the owner of the lip bars featured in it. There's a bunch of women, there's a bunch of people in it that you probably recognize, but basically they kind of say, you know, their business journey of entrepreneurship, and a lot of them was, you have to quit your job, like you have to quit your 9-to-5. And just like you just said, the lady in the group said having that money saved up as a cushion, because I mean, I believe in myself, I do, but I also, we have loans, you know, we have car payments, you know, we have that type of stuff that that doesn't get paid on believing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? So once I have that amount saved up where I know, okay, I can just quit and I can focus 110% on 120% on Accessorize, which is what I plan on doing. But for right now, I will be, my 9 to 5 and Accessorize. But I actually like my 9 to 5 too, so.
Now I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to look up. So what did you do to get it in the box, the subscription box? And I'm like, oh, maybe I can put my book in one of these subscription boxes.
So what I'll do, I'll actually tag, like I'll tag you on her. I'll connect you too. But that was part of that networking thing, like getting on Instagram and kind of like, say for instance, if maybe you are on my page, or if I went to your page and I saw, the name of something that looked familiar, and that's what it was. I saw that the vitamin M box, and I was like, what is that? It was that type of name, like what is that? And I clicked it and I was like, oh wow, and I just started following, and she started following me, and we started like writing each other, and then she was kind of like, this is, what I do. I want to feature in my box. And I believe she does a little bit of everything. So I definitely connect y'all.
This has been a great conversation. Like have my wheels turning on so much stuff. Like we need to, I don't know if I have your number, but I know I inbox you a lot. We like inbox and talk. Because I really would love to actually do those couple of things, like send you this book, get you to do a review, and let's do another virtual open mic, and I will spit a piece. I will conquer my fear.
That would be dope.
And we can get so many other people, and maybe we can this time around lower the age as long as the parents could, like, we do like a consent form or something.
Yeah. Because when I tell you, even when he got him, I was listening. I was like, this little boy is not 18. And then, look, girl, he did. He started. It was good, but he started his poem off with like I don't know what song. It was like a song. But it was a song that was like over his age. He started off with the verse of that song, and everybody was in the chat box like, that sounds familiar. And I was like, Lord Jesus, this boy. But his mom stayed on after. She was like, he just really loves poetry, but it was cute. It was real cute.
What was I gonna say? I had one other question. If you could do anything differently than what you've done now, if you could, what would you do? Or what would you tell younger Keisha Simone to make her prepared for where you're at now?
What I would do differently is I would have changed my mindset in the beginning just a little bit. I say that, and maybe this will help somebody, but when I initially started and when I initially launched, for some reason, I just thought that everybody was going to have my back. Everybody was going to shop with me immediately, that all my friends and family were gonna be my promotion. Like, I just thought that it was like, I knew I was doing it by myself, but I honestly thought like it was gonna be like, okay, these people that I talk to all the time they're gonna be working kind of for me, but they're gonna be not working, but they're gonna, like the stuff I see on Instagram, like they're gonna just be posting Accessorize every day. They're gonna be wearing it every day. And my friends support me, they do, but it didn't happen the way that I thought it did. I thought that that it would come a little bit easier. And so I got a little bit discouraged because I had expectations for other people. You know what I'm saying? I had expectations for other people to fulfill my needs, if that makes sense. And when that stuff that didn't happen, when these friends, they might post me once a month instead of, once every day, like I see other people. Like when that stuff I got a little bit discouraged, and I was a little bit upset with them. But then when I saw that I was being myself on my Instagram page and I was creating content that people can relate to, it was complete strangers that were doing what I expected my friends to do. It was complete strangers that were making comments on every post. It was complete strangers who were, shopping with me, being repeat customers. So I think that I would have changed my mindset in the beginning to one of, not in a negative way, but Keisha, like, nobody's gonna have your back like you're going to have your back. Like, nobody is going to, root for you like you're gonna root for you. So you have to understand that, and don't expect you from other people.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, our stories are so similar, it's ridiculous. Because I had the same thing. I was like, well, I know these 4 people right here. I know they gonna do X, Y, and Z, because I always supported them. Like, I have a person that they started a business or 2, and if you open my closet, there's multiple things from them. Like, if I support you, I support you. I'm gonna do my best. If it's okay, well, I'm gonna support you and I gotta catch your sale, or if I'm gonna support you and I'm about one item, I'm gonna show you that, hey, I see you and I want to support. And I was like, man, I didn't receive. At first, I was pissed off at people. I was like this, like, really, like you. And then I had to tell myself the same thing you said. I was like, Keela, you can't expect me from you, because these people, you got people that are now probably, they was your friend because you were buying stuff from them, and now they pissed off because you out here doing the same thing, or you trying to build a business too, and now you might finna be up there with them when they thought they could talk about you here. It was it was this multiplicity of this array of emotions, and I felt just like you. I had to tell myself, you can't expect you from you. And when I say strangers, I mean people from New York were buying stuff. I forgot to share today, but I'm gonna share it a little bit later. Like today on the podcast, I do Facebook, and I do Faith Over Fear Fridays. And in there, I talked about today, like, having the audacity to just look back from where you came from and think about where you're headed and think about what you've overcome. And I got on my Anchor, which is my housing site for my podcast. I got on there and I looked at the analytics. I have people from Germany, Bern,
oh wow,
Canada, United States, all these other places. 50% males listen to my podcast. Who would have thought? It was 50%, and it's not 50% women. And I saw that, and I was like, damn, like, you thinking, you have those thoughts like, God, the viewers, wasn't really high on this episode, but look at where you've come from. Look at what you're doing. Look at your capabilities. And it's not even the people that always hollering, I'm gonna rock with you, I got your back, I'm gonna do It's not them. They're not looking. Then it's unfortunate, but you can't let that stagnate you or hinder your relationship. You gotta learn how to handle boom, there's real long, and then you gotta keep pushing and building your brand and building you.
Right. Absolutely.
This is God knows what to send and how to send it. Like when to send what and how to send what. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been being lazy with my book. Don't kill me, Anthony. Because I'm supposed to be finishing up the second part. So I have a trilogy, volume 1, 2, and 3. So I'm supposed to be finishing up part 2 so that it can get ready to drop. And I've just been, I stayed in Mississippi for 3 weeks. I stayed in Mississippi for 3 weeks. Came back and was actually didn't feel good. Was laid up in the bed for 3 or 4 days, and then got a little bit of my life back together and was like, okay, yeah, I still don't want to do no work. I just want to chill.
I'm quarantined.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm trying to get my life together. So whatever you're doing, people out there, be grateful, look back, and like if you really gonna start something, do the research and have the mindset of, I ain't got it all together, but I'm gonna get there. And you don't have to have everything laid out to start. Just get that damn start.
Right.
Is there any last words that you would like to leave the virgins with? Any encouragement? Anything that you want to say?
Well, I want to, anything that I feel like if you're passionate about, there's a way, if you want to start a business or if you want to put it out there, that there's a way to do it. And you just got to be creative with it. And I just want to tell you, I've been following you. I'm proud of you. Congratulations on your success. I really enjoy you. This is the first time we've like talked, but you're the same way this way that you are on, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you so much. Y'all hear that, people? Like, I'm crazy on Facebook. I'm crazy. No, but it's really me. This is it. Like, I can't, like you said, what I liked about one thing that you said was that when you were offended by people not doing X, Y, Z, you realize like, hey, I'm being my authentic self. I'm being me. And if you're not living on this, that's your fault, not mine. And I think this what made me like push myself to do too. Like, you ain't fucking with me. I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with me. You ain't gotta fuck with me. I am. You missing out. You're bad. But it has been a pleasure, and thank you so much. You've always been like, I remember when you shared my picture, I told my sister, I said, oh, I'm modeling somebody's jewelry on their website. I was like, oh,
no, you gotta send me some more. No, that picture actually, because you know how that picture with the hat on and the earrings is one of the ones, you know how you get the thing, it was like, this post is getting 95 or 85% more engagement. Do you get those things on your Instagram?
No, I don't get it on my Instagram. I probably need to see how to do that.
I got it on my Instagram for that picture. So yes, that was a money shot. That was a money shot.
Awesome, but I'm gonna keep supporting. I actually was supposed to. What I realized today was that I was supposed to order some more of these, and I had not yet. So I'm gonna make sure I go and do that because I wanted to give me another pair of my sister a pair, and some other stuff too. But thank you so much. Like, I really enjoy what you're doing. Like, it's inspiring.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to work on this other stuff. If you can inbox me your address so I can ship this book off to you tomorrow. And again, I would love to work on the virtual thing, the virtual open mic night. I think that'd be great.
Okay.
All right.
I'll email you right now. I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Keisha. I know you just got off and it's late there because it's 9 o'clock now.
Yeah. Good old North Carolina.
Okay. Thank you for your time and you have a great weekend, okay?
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Vergers, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. If you want to start a business, if you want to start anything, the first thing to do is just start. If that's getting your EIN number, if that's writing out a plan, if that's setting up something for yourself, like setting different things aside for yourself to do, like making a list of things you want to knock off, whatever it is, do what you feel you need to do in order to make sure that you're going toward that particular success. And don't expect you from you. Only you can give you. Accept people for where they are. Be okay with that. Be okay for what they do. And understand that what they don't do is not going to hinder you. Right? Thank y'all so much. We had a great night and we'll see y'all back next week. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this thing. Okay? Spotify Podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Overcast. Get there. Then go ahead and go to YouTube now. I'm sick of telling y'all to get over to YouTube, but y'all missing out because y'all will see me jump up out of chairs and do all this crazy stuff. Get over there. Like, go watch me. Go watch, you know what? Go watch them mukbangs. They were good. I'm going to do another mukbang. I'm probably going, yep, I'm going to do another one. I got one coming up. So, like, go watch my stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Like, do that. That's free. That's free to me. Like, pump your sister up. Okay. Bye.